Passengers with a fever, cough, runny nose and breathing difficulties should identify themselves to the cabin crew.
Hi everybody. We're at our secret location. I'm sure a lot of you will guess from the images. I wanted to talk today a little bit, before we talk about and look around this town that we're in, about flying, whether it's safe to fly in 2020 with the COVID. It is now around about the 15th of July, to give you an idea. Michelle and I have just done a flight, so we can tell you what we thought. And whilst we do that, let's have a little look around. This is a very touristic town, which is quite interesting but quite quiet considering its peak season. And one of the reasons might be because of the flying situation. I think what I'll do is I'll just tell you as it happened to us, and you can decide from that whether or not you think it's appropriate to be flying. Now, I tell this from a perspective of Istanbul Airport and a budget flight we were flying with Pegasus. What you might expect and what you might receive. So we were told, or I was led to believe anyway, that the airlines now were being very particular about safety, and that there were seat formations in planes where you wouldn't have to sit next to another person. There would be space, at least the center seats would be free. Now, that aside, when we arrived at the airport at Istanbul, there was a lot of social distancing regulations. We were forced to stand certain distances away from the people in front of us. There was lots of hand washing, hand sanitizing. Look at these bars. Hello. Merhaba. Fish, Michelle sees fish. Lots of fish. So why would you not fly here? It's absolutely gorgeous, yes? So the first signs at the airport were very promising. Lots of social distancing, hand cleaning. You had to wear a mask throughout the airport. You had to be very careful in the restaurants where you ate. And the queuing, to a degree, actually maybe it was the queuing that started to show the cracks in the veneer. Whoops, having a little paddy. So yes, when the plane started to board, I thought, well, the queues are getting a little bit tight. You know, people were pretty much at that point shoulder to shoulder. But we thought not to worry. When we get on the plane, there'll be our seats, window seat, aisle seat, lots of space between us. I've even been told there's like a sort of 2-1-2 formation. Anyway, we got to the plane, and I don't want to criticize, but I've subsequently looked and I saw quite a few of the airlines saying that they would like to keep social distancing. Not that they would keep social distancing, but they would like to. I actually watched one guy being interviewed. He was a pilot on one of the airlines, saying that they would leave lots of space between the passengers if they could. So it wasn't actually, when you looked closely, it wasn't actually saying that they absolutely would, but they might. So imagine our surprise when we got onto the plane and we were pretty much shoulder to shoulder. The plane was chock-a-block full. It was absolutely packed. Now, that was the first surprise. Secondly, I was a little disappointed, I have to say, that the air conditioning on the plane wasn't working properly in my mind. It was pretty hot and stuffy. There were lots of regulations. You weren't allowed to eat food at the same time as any of your neighbours, which was understandable since we were elbow to elbow. You weren't allowed to take your mask off at any time during being on the plane unless you were eating, and you could only eat in sort of, you know, alternate sessions with a neighbour that was sat next to you. You weren't allowed to get up to go to the bathroom unless the lights were green, so you had to wait your time. What other regulations were there, Michelle? G'day, mate. No, we know. Thank you.
I know.
Thank
Say
you.
to hi.
Hello, man.
Did you talk with the video? Make
Yes,
the video?
yes, we're making a video, man. You've got to understand the businesses here are really struggling, and we're here supporting who we can, but you can only support, you know, one at a time, unless you want to drink and eat all day long, which isn't a bad idea. So what other regulations were there, Michelle? You had to close the lid before you could flush the toilets because of the COVID virus. There were a number of sort of conflicting rules and regulations. You know, you're sat literally elbow to elbow with somebody wearing a paper mask. For in our case was probably about 2.5 hours. The flight itself was just over an hour, but then you've got the land, you know, the time on the tarmac. So if you're comfortable with that, and I'm not saying this would be the case because I do know some people who have flown recently on longer international flights where they have had a lot of space around them, but I also know quite a few people that have been on international flights that have also been shoulder to shoulder. So I don't think you can guarantee. How pretty is that? No smoking, no phones, no ice creams, no cameras, no drinks. So yeah, if that's going to be a problem for you, being shoulder to shoulder with people, I think, you know, we did our research also. Let's just go down here and look at the coast again. So we did our research also, and we were led to believe there was going to be space. I wasn't that comfortable, to be honest. The flight was full of families. There was zero social distancing. Beautiful windows, huh? Taco Tuesday. A lot of these, outside every bar and restaurant, there's these hand sanitizers. And although it's quiet, because it is close to midday here at the moment, it actually is reasonably busy. This is a sort of bar and cafe street, and at night it still gets, even in the current situation, it's still absolutely chock-a-block with people. So that's it really. I just wanted to share and say what our flight experience was, and let you decide for yourself whether it is the right time to be flying or not. And yeah, leave your comments, share your experiences. If you've flown recently and you've had maybe different experiences, let us know. That's what happened to Michelle and I, and we'll talk about it maybe a little more in the next video, where we're going to take a first look around this beautiful Turkish town. Now, at the beginning of the video there was a little teaser, and you saw a guy making lahmacun, and it was this guy here. He's making it for Michelle and I. We're going to have some ayran, which is a sort of yogurt style drink, and then afterwards there's a little bonus video of the actual flight that we took. So if you want to hang around for that, it's probably worth watching. Lahmacun is like a Turkish pizza of sorts. It's a very thin crust pizza with a slightly spicy sauce on there. I'm not exactly sure of the ingredients. I'll try and find that out for you in a later video. It should be served lovely and crispy and thin, and then you sort of wrap it up. I'm trying to tell you how I eat it anyway. I wrap it up with the salad inside and a little bit of lemon. It's absolutely delicious. You have to try this if you come to any part of Turkey. I'm pretty sure it's available everywhere. Here comes our ayran. Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. Now the ayran, you give it a shake up, stick your straw in, and like I say, it's a slightly salty yogurt drink, really delicious, and it goes well with this sort of food. Michelle and I love it. So you just tear the bread down the center. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way of doing this. You take a bit of the salad, a little bit of the tomato. I always put at least one of these chilies in there as well. Squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in there, if you like it. And there's no real right way, or maybe there is. I just roll that up. Oh, that is so good. Oh, a little bit of hot, a little bit of chili kicking in. It's the thinnest, crispiest pizza you'll ever eat, and it's really packed full of flavour. Man, that was delicious. Anyway, back to the bonus video, the actual flight. You can see what happened on our journey flying with Pegasus Airline. How we managed to live for 4 months with just this bag and this bag each. Obviously Michelle has the same bag. So we are trying now to escape from Istanbul. Just 1 minute. So we're here for the Havi bus. We are heading out to the main airport, down to a secret location. This is the only way we can do it, guys. There is no air conditioner in this airport bus today. So if you're planning to come to Turkey, don't forget Havi buses that will take you into the city. You have to wear a mask, and there will be no air conditioner, so it will be hot. Okay, I'm playing with masks to see which one feels more comfortable, the paper one or the fabric one. So we're coming through on the last stage, and of course our bags are getting checked again, as they always do here on every flight. So there, Michelle and I's 2 small, that's our check-in bags, 32 kilos for 2 bags, the Osprey roller duffels, and that's all the soft stuff, and then we have to carry all the camera gear and everything with us.
She was sweet.
She was very sweet. So we're all done. That's checked in. We've still got 3 hours here to wait. We're allowed to take our slightly bigger bags because we have only inside the bags we have electronic equipment. You're not actually allowed to take a cabin bag on the planes at the moment.
It's a lady's handbag and a laptop bag, and that's about it, really.
Really, yeah.
Oh, and a baby bag, but we haven't got a baby.
So you're not allowed to take as much as you normally can, but we're actually carrying... So we're carrying pretty much what we always carry. Because this bag is really, you can't check it in. It's all camera, sounds, drones, and the sort of stuff you can't check in at an airport. We're experimenting with masks at the moment. I'm trying the fabric mask. Michelle's got the paper mask on. Either way, it's hot and sweaty. You can actually pull it down just over your nose so that you're not breathing straight into the mask. That does help a little bit. But I have to say, it really is not that comfortable. And we have 3.5 hours before we can actually get on the plane. So I would suggest the best thing you do is come up to somewhere like Starbucks and then at least you can sit and take your mask off, because you're in restaurants, you're allowed to. But as soon as you get up and start moving again, it's going to be back to mask wearing. It's just crazy. It should be noted, there is no Wi-Fi in these airports. I really hate airports that don't provide Wi-Fi to visitors in 2020. Can you believe it? So, it's crazier than you think. We were told there were going to be like social distancing rules on the plane, but there is no social distancing rules. It's that sort of hypocrisy, isn't it? It's the hypocrisy of what people are saying and what their actions are.
Dear guests, on behalf of Pegasus Airlines, welcome on board. We would like to remind you that the mask must be worn throughout the flight. In order to avoid overcrowding in the aisle, please stand in the rows between seats to place hand baggage in the overhead compartment.
But would you fly during this corona epidemic? Very hard. Really, really hard. If you've flown before, if you've done any flying, you'll know what I mean. Imagine. And we have children on every seat around us. But there's zero attention to safety whatsoever. Zero.
Cough, runny nose and breathing difficulties should identify themselves to the cabin crew. Service. According to our COVID-19 measures, food service is not available, and menus in the seat pockets have been removed. There are cold drink options at Pegasus Cafe. You can only pay by credit card with chip and pin, or multi-net.
I'm going to have to do a video about flying, whether or not you should fly, because that was interesting. Not pleasant at all. Well, the bougainvillea here is so pretty. It's sort of white and pink, and there's a sort of peachy colour as well. All right, see you next time.